Our topic this morning is Digital Design Center, Customer Experience, and Optimum Sales and Buyer Satisfaction. That's a lot of words, but it's really like, how do we provide an efficient and enjoyable experience on Digital Design Center and have it do what we want it to do, which is help the buyer design the home and for us to sell a lot of options along the way. We've got three great platform providers here who, and then we've got one of the poster boy practitioners in Dennis Webb. So I'm going to ask you to just give us a 60-second intro, each of you. Frank, you're first up.
Okay. Hi, I'm Frank Reed. I'm President and CEO of Aereas Interactive. We're a prop tech company that helps customers. We help create customer experiences, epic customer experiences. We do everything from allowing people to purchase, shop, look for their house, design their house all online using virtual reality, photorealistic virtual tours, both from communities, and it can be online or in the design center. So that's in a nutshell.
Carolyn?
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Studio Chateau. We're an options management software system. We come from a background of part design center, part software, and so our expertise is we really understand designers meeting with homebuyers, what homebuyers want to know, what they want to see, and what will help them understand the options to purchase for their new home.
Ryan.
I'm Ryan Thornton. I'm with ECI. Originally with InSearch. ECI acquired InSearch. I co-founded InSearch about 10 years ago. InSearch is a digital sales and design center platform. And then ECI is basically the complete building system, building solution, I should say, for home builders.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Webb. I'm Vice President of Fulton Homes. Came from the retail background. Now we took our retail things and we turned it into this design center. We've had a digital design center for 18 years now, and probably one of the more successful operations in the country.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, you've been at this a long time, but the other three folks here are kind of part of the originals group, I would say. You know, when I started to become aware of these platform technologies, when we launched Tech Home Builder in 2001, Frank was one of the, you had already been at it for 10 years. 1991. Dennis, you know, you as a practitioner, you've been on the cutting edge. And then Carolyn, you know, you were affiliated, we talk about Mike Moore as one of the spiritual godfathers for this conference, but Mike had launched Options Online.
Right.
And BDX and Options Online were two of my go-tos on the digital design center side of things, but you ended up acquiring that engine and really incorporating it into your operations and then extending it out to other folks. So it's, I don't want to feel like old school and old time, but we've, you know, some of us have been at this a long time, and it's fun to have the originals here. So, so here's what the flow is going to be. Frank, we're going to look for each of the platform providers to kind of talk about best practices or hero customers in terms of their platforms where they are able to deliver good customer experience and optimize the sell-through. Dennis is going to give us a quick overview through a lot of slides and a lot of data points that are now pretty because I worked on them.
He is so talented. It's unbelievable. You think
the
he's
color
just good at this.
on that is so amazing.
It's incredible.
No flywheels for you, but Dennis is going to give us a quick tour, and then he's got like problems, issues, and solutions, and I want to get some feedback from the platform providers on Dennis's wish list. That's the way this is going to flow. I was going to incorporate some video from an interview I did with Mike Moore, but because we have 84 slides in 55 minutes, I'm not. But one of the things that Mike said, and I'd like each of you all to speak to it as you walk through what your platforms do, is his feeling is that we're not totally self-serve with Digital Design Center, that it is mostly a collaboration tool for the designers and the buyers, and that we're still a pretty long way and have to figure out how to provide some sort of design rubric up front if we're going to self-serve. That just doesn't exist today. So I think if foundationally, that's what we're talking about as a collaboration between the humans using this technology. You know, I'd love for you all to speak to that, and I think some things are being taken out of the mix for the in-person or person-to-person conversation, but it still ends up being mostly a collaborative tool. But why don't you all speak to that as you work through your presentation?
Okay.
With that, I'm going to hand the clicker to you, Frank.
All right.
Stop talking.
Clickety-click. All right, so I already told you who I am, so I'm just going to skip through some of these slides. Other services we do, from renderings to everything else, so just, sorry?
That was just somebody in the back.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so I want to talk about a client of ours, Clientele. They're a major real estate developer. They primarily build condos. In their lifetime, they've built over 85,000 condos. We've been working with them since the early 30s. They do all the virtual reality tours and renderings, and they are like a Starbucks. They charge a premium value, the premium to the market, and they really emphasize customer experience. So they have that part of the equation down pat. So 5 or 6 years ago, they approached us and said, Frank, I know you've got your VDC or Visual Design Center. We want to up our game. At that time, they weren't doing really well with their design center. It was lacking. So I'm going to talk about some of the successes and how they've actually implemented it. And I want to emphasize one of the things that Tim Costello emphasized in his keynotes. It was, they implemented this in bite-sized chunks, little ripples at a time. You can't just go for the tsunami. Tsunami comes crashing down and it fails every time. And that's exactly what we did with them. So I want to start by showing you what their success is. So where they are today, their last development, Chateau, 120% more revenue than expected. 110% higher net promoter score, 2/3 time saved. Like, who wouldn't want to double their revenue, double their customer experience satisfaction, and save 2/3 of time? I mean, I think everyone want to do that. That's what they're actually at today. And I'm going to walk you through the journey in terms of how they got there. So talk about a little bit of their challenges and then the stages. So the first stage, we analyzed how they were doing selections, and they were very decentralized. So project managers decided what choices they're going to offer for this particular building over this particular building. There was no centralized merchandising. There was no centralized sales design center. Everything was decentralized, and this project manager had a good relationship with this contractor. They would go with them, et cetera, et cetera. And it created problems. Like, a customer would come in and buy a $1,500 refrigerator in this development, buy it in the other development half a year later, and it's $2,200. Like, why is the price different? And that's because the markup from this project manager was different than the markup from this project manager. And it created all kinds of these customer experience problems. So one of the things they decided to do is, we're going to merchandise this, get it to the design centers, and everything was done in pieces. There was no integration on phase one. I know I talked to a lot of people that came by our booth yesterday. One of the topics, hot topics, integration, integration, integration. Yeah, that is extremely important. But do that in the second phase. Pilot first. Try it. Learn from your mistakes. And then you actually implement. Because when you try to go for the tsunami, things come crashing down. So that's what we did. Phase one, no integration. We did that in phase two. So let me go in and talk about okay, so some of the challenges they were facing, I think I mentioned them. It was average customer service on the design center, exceptional on sales and marketing, average on design center, expensive non-centralized design centers, as I mentioned. So we started with VDC packages, which is, there's your designer package at the top, and basically created the platform that consumer, and I'm going to have a video that's going to play for you right now, that they can actually make those selections. So they used this for 2 to 3 years. They did about 5 developments. They learned a ton from it. Higher operational efficiencies, higher customer satisfaction rates, and how many people would actually be self-sufficient. And the number is phenomenal. So I'm going to get to that in a second. So we're going to answer the question. So this is a quick 1-minute video that walk you through what the process is. Person would get an email, hey, time to do your design selections. You know, there's your color boards. We transform those into actual photorealistic renderings. Someone can actually see what their kitchen's going to look like. So you can create as many selections as you want. Here you can see the different color packages. And whatever the comparison is between the color packages, someone can compare them. They, looking at this as the kitchen, they can do the same thing in the bathroom. You look like you have a question there.
I do. I'm just like, are they starting with these color boards?
Instead of color boards, they're transformed into renderings. They don't see the color boards. They're actually just seeing the finished images. So, because people can't understand, interpret what they're seeing. Mm-hmm. They're seeing, this is what my kitchen's going to look like. This is what my bathroom's going to look like. Mm. As opposed to, what is, I don't get it. I can't visualize that.
Do they put that together, though? I mean, are they able to bounce back and forth? This was one of Mike's points, is that like you need to kind of do basic color board, color integration, education in order for them to feel proficient playing around with stuff. So that's why I'm curious.
Yeah,
you're saying it just, they just jump right into the options
they jump right
as
in.
They're articulated.
They don't have to be a designer. They don't have to try to interpret. They see it.
Yeah.
They visualize it in actual scenes.
Yeah.
And the end result, I mean, I just skipped through a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if people were watching it. I'll just, before I jump to the slide, this allowed people, and I'll show you the results in a second. Yep. This allowed people to visualize their kitchens, their bathrooms, say, hey, I'm happy with this. Pick an a la carte option. I think that was a thermostat they were picking. Mm-hmm. Check out via credit card and DocuSign, all online. And then there, that screen there, the designer would review it, make sure there's no errors, no mistakes, finalize, send to construction. And the send to construction was a manual process to start. Again, this is phased in approach. Baby steps, learn, improve. Some of the results, 600 unit, 95% of people pick their selections online. 95%. No designer, no staff, 95% of people made their selections online. Completed them in 4 weeks. Yep, 4 weeks. Typically, one designer would take 60 weeks to do 600 units. They did that in 4 weeks. Because it's, you know, I could send out an email that says to all my people, do your selections. The most effort they had to do was chase people. Hey, check your inbox. Did you get the email? Got to make your selections. So that was most of the effort, because anybody can go online, or everyone can go online, buy some on Amazon. You don't, you know, everyone can do it at the same time. Massive operational efficiencies, cost savings, obviously from that. So some of the numbers, 15% of people purchased the $5,000 upgrade package. So that's not big numbers, but this is the starting point. They wanted to learn, understand what people would do. 450K, which turns out, you know, and they're asking 100% margin. So some of the options were not just the thermostat. It's, you know, upgrade the high value options, like upgrade the den door to a French door or something like that.
So they're on the platform. They've got to make selections just as part of the purchase process, period, from a design perspective. And then we've got these options that are popping up in front of them, or
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So 225K. So that was the VDC package. Did this for about 2 to 3 years, 5 developments, and it's okay. We're ready to take this to the next level. We want to amp this up. We want to go for exceptional customer service. We want, you know, provide much more choice. We want to increase our upgrade sales, improve operational efficiency even further. So again, it's a ripple. Do one step at a time. Had great success. Let's take it to the next level. So the next phase was using our VDC Pro, which is fully 100% a la carte. You can do anything you want, from material choices to pricing, everything in between. So we started with more finish op, digitized thousands of their options. And again, this is phase 1. So we created phase 2, which we used vignettes of scenes. So we didn't create full virtual tours of all their homes, because, you know, a lot of developers say, you know, I got 500 models. How am I going to digitize all 500 models? It's an incredible cost. It's going to take a long time. No, 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 you don't do that. You can just do vignettes. So you might look at your product line and say, hey, I can get away with 10 kitchens and 10 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms. And just like you have vignettes inside your design center, you don't build full models inside your design center. You have these little vignettes. You create these virtual vignettes, which allow people to see and visualize what their options are going to look like. So this was part of phase 2. Phase 3, which is upcoming, is going to be the next level, which is the full virtual tour, which I'll get into in a few minutes as well. And another thing that they did, and this is really important, they standardized the construction offerings across all their developments. They took the power away from the project managers, gave it to the design center, merchandise it, like Dennis is saying. They created this incredible 9,000 square foot facility, right? So the bricks and the clicks, they had both. Created this incredible $9,000, looks just like, you know, retail shop, had that retail shop and experience to it. Centralize it. Now the merchandisers treated this like a retail center. So that was really important. And they standardized across the company. It's not just the platform, it's the processes had to be changed too. Again, don't go for the tsunami, just, you know, you have to plan this out, bite-sized chunks. So here's a quick video of how that works. So this is a vignette you're seeing. Basically, you can go in and it'll start here by, you can start a new selection. You can still start with curated packages, so you pick a selection. And now what you're going to see is this kitchen doesn't have an island. It asks if someone's adding an island, so we can show physical structural options. So now I bring in the island, and it's hard to see there, but there's prices coming up. Yeah, you can actually see the pricing coming up, including the mortgage impact. So if I'm, you know, approved for a $3,000 mortgage and I'm at $2,500 for the base model, I have $500 that I can actually spend, and I can actually see the impact of each product that I'm picking, and I can remove it. There I just showed a dependency. One of the reasons we were saying about that self-sufficiency, with this system, we put in these business rules, these dependency rules. So what happens is, when someone's picking that range and they want to expand it from a 24 to 36, we physically change it. It expanded, you saw it there, and it says, hey, you have to change your hood fan. So it changed the hood fan automatically for you. Just like if you're shopping for a car and you say, I want to get 20-inch rims, well, the rubber's going to change to 20 inches as well. You're not going to get an 18-inch rim with 20-inch rim with 18-inch rubber. So the same thing happens in the system. So it makes it very self-reliant. So numbers on that are incredible as well. So, but just before I get into those numbers, I'll show a little bit of the mortgage impact. You know, the pricing, and it was mentioned several times in the last sessions, transparency, transparency, transparency. People want to see what the price is, and this is all real-time pricing. So there's no, let me get back to you in 2 days, and then someone's got to figure out and give you the price, and that person's humming and hawing, thinking about it. It's instant on. So it's more work for the developer up front. They have to do their takeoffs. The system is great. Computers are great at calculating math. You know, you got to say this is 12 bucks a foot and this is 500 square feet, and the system will compute it for you. Someone's just got to put those takeoffs in, and the system will generate it. That's what computers do great at.
So you're showing monthly payment effect versus like a straight dollar, because it's going to be more consumed as a monthly payment.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did something really brilliant, in my opinion. So they said, if you spend $10,000 in upgrades, the first $10,000 upgrades, you have to pay 100% up front. So you got to write for a check for 10 grand. If you buy over $10,000, you only have to give us a 20% deposit, and the rest can go on your mortgage. So now, if you're a buyer and you're at $9,500 in upgrades, hey, I got to write a check for $9,500. Let me add $501, and I only have to give you $2 grand, and the rest I can put on my mortgage, which I can take 25 years to pay off if I wanted to.
Yep.
So what that effectively does, it takes your $10,000 and now makes it 50 grand worth. So I have 10 grand in the bank. I can either write a $10,000 check and pay for it, or I can use that as a 20% deposit to 50 grand in upgrades. So guess what? They're going to sell way more upgrades because now that dollar goes further. And I could see what the bank has pre-approved me. So just making some of those business fundamental changes increases what right, they can spend a lot more. And the time that people spend on it, we have people, statistics, 50, 60 hours. Me and my wife can sit there and argue and fight about color selection. You know, the stuff, I want white, I want black. You argue all you want. You could make hundreds of selections. I can even have I share this to my friends. My friends could even make the selections for me. And then I can say, you know what, I want Bob's. Bob's is the favorite. Yeah. And then I can set up design center appointments, do DocuSign, and all the rest of it. I know
how much more you got? We got to wrap up. We got to keep
going.
I'm
going to go real fast. Just look at some of the stats. Their first building, 70% more revenue, a third of the time saved. That was the first one implemented this way. Chateau, I already talked about these numbers. This is subsequent buildings. They've done, I think, 10 others since then.
Yeah.
Another one of our clients, 95% completed online, 67% time saved, average sale 13 grand, 400K profit based on 100% or 30% margin. Yeah. Here's another scenario, another one of our clients. They use this virtual design center on the sales side. 737,000 new users last year, 13,000 registrations, 4 minutes and 51 cents. This is on the sales side. So you can use this to help your sales and marketing efforts.
Are you a numbers guy by any chance?
No.
Okay. Let's keep going,
Okay.
Frank. Are you almost there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I just want to show real quick the next evolution of this, because someone talked, I think it was Tim that talked about the next stage of this. So this, you can actually, Tim actually showed this video, full virtual model tours. Yeah. This is actually real-time recorded right off, oops, I skipped it if I go back. This is recorded real-time right off our laptop on the trade show floor. How come it's not playing?
I don't know. Maybe we don't have it teed up. I think we're out of time, though.
Anyway,
but
okay.
It's cool stuff. I think, calculating out the economic effects is awesome. The thing that struck me, your crawl, walk, run, fly
absolutely.
thing. But like, even if and I know a lot of us are getting back to personalization after supply chain kind of took that out of the equation, but just to do the design selections without upselling. Now you are personalizing a home for somebody just based on some colors and some choices within the range for the base package. So your digital design center functionality starts there, and people start to become involved, and you get the personalization plus, but then you could start to build on top of that the ability to upsell the options. So I think it's an interesting strategy that you had with that client that could be in effect for some folks who are just getting back to personalization.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really important, to walk before you run, or crawl, walk, run. Yep. You can't get too hung up on. If there's anything you learned from this, is that's the best way to try to implement. And pilot. Like, it's really important, because you're going to learn a lot, and maybe in your market it doesn't work. All right, you don't know. I mean, you have to try it, and then you're going to learn a lot from the pilot, and then you're going to tweak and implement after there. That would probably be my best advice: is pilot and hire two companies. You never know. Put them, like we're doing that right now. Major builders doing that right now with us and BDX on a couple of pilots. Let's try both. See how it works out. And maybe, we're big enough that we can use both platforms.
Trials and pilots are keys to innovation.
Absolutely.